I am Jess. I have a butt ton of kids, a butt ton of businesses, and a butt ton of things to say. We are starting to get delirious here in the podcast studio, but this is One Girl Too Much, the potty where I share lessons of learning to girl differently and my journey to becoming proudly too much. And today's lesson is a big one. I can already take bets. Alex is going to cry.
It's how long into the episode? That's the
I
real
reckon
question.
you're not getting through the title, but it is by far, I think, probably my most important lesson and the hardest one to learn, which is there's no rules to motherhood.
Amen.
And what has started as like a really beautiful segue into, I guess, a little bit of our journey and how we came together. But for me, the convo is almost becoming passive-aggressively angry because it started as like this realization and now I'm like, who decided that motherhood looks like? Like, are we blaming social media? Are we blaming men? I don't know, but I need someone to get mad at because it's so infuriating how obvious we are typecast into this.
Absolutely. I am a new mum.
Yeah.
You're a seasoned mum.
Yeah.
So that's where we differentiate, and that's where the real conversation starts. How are you? How are you coping being a mum of 6 beautiful
I'm hanging
children?
on by a bloody thread, let me tell you. It doesn't get easier. I think it changes though the more that you have. I struggled more with one. For sure.
I'm
Your
struggling.
first one is
I'm in survival mode right now.
Struggling mentally, physically.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Oh, not so much physically anymore. I'm tired. Good Lord, am I tired? But mentally, it's a lot. It's a lot that you're thinking about this other human being and also trying to raise a beautiful, kind human being. And you're also trying to be that yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that your generation, not that we're that different in age, guys, but I think that social media does play a huge role in that because I didn't have a camera reel to compare whether or not I was doing a good job. Like, mum guilt was always there when I had my first 2, but, you know, the aesthetic mum era has to die.
I agree.
It just has to die.
I agree.
Who decided putting beige clothing on children was a good idea?
You know, when I was shopping for your baby's birthday, I was like, I need as much colour as
Literally.
I can find.
It is like...
But also the boys section, horrible.
Horrible. That's a whole nother potty for another day. But I often think, like, if you were an alien coming to this planet and it was like they put these messy, oozing children in beige, they would think we have the IQ of a peanut. Like, it's so dumb that that has been a thing. So I think in terms of supporting women with postpartum, social media is the antichrist, honestly. It's so, so bad. And even though social media very much existed, we were still updating our statuses with words.
Yeah,
you know, like it was still what's on your mind
cute.
today. And you go back and you cringe. You absolutely cringe. It wasn't the way social is now, for sure.
What was the pivotal moment that made you change? Well, actually, I don't think you ever had the perspective of, you know, motherhood is linear and has to look a certain way. But is there a moment that you were like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this to please other people or look the same as other people?
I think that when you are a mum, no matter what influences you have, you're desperate for some sort of measure that you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because this little thing can't tell you.
Yeah.
When it's visibly happy and can talk to you and you get these moments of, oh, she a good human.
Yeah.
It starts to get a little bit easier in that sense. But when they're just like little potatoes, you're desperate for some sort of gratification or measuring stick. And that shows up on how many vegetables, you know, your homemade baby food. And I definitely had my season of pureeing organic broccoli into brownies because I thought that's what good mothers did. And my daughters never went anywhere without matching sandals and headbands. And, you know, dare I use the word sensory class, which I only lasted 10 minutes. I'm not going to lie. That's a
I was 3 terms.
Yeah, mate. No judgment if you're a baby sensory class mum, but I'm definitely not. So I think that is a natural course and something that we can do a lot better at supporting each other through. But for me, learning to work as a mum was the catalyst because I didn't have time for those things. And I had to go through a process of redefining what motherhood looked like for me and what I was going to do to achieve that. And just going back to that feeling of being broken as a girl that's too much, I did not enjoy motherhood. I did not find joy in it. I love my kids, and let's not get the two confused, people. it's not where I get my fulfillment from. I do it and I'm probably pretty mediocre at it, but they're happy and alive. So we're going to take that as a win. But I needed more in my life.
Yeah.
Outside of that season of motherhood, it was not my forever.
See, I'm juggling that at the moment. When I was at home on maternity leave, I was like, I this is not for me. I need to go back to the workforce. And now I have the opposite mum guilt of like, oh, I'm not spending enough time, or the time isn't intentional enough. And I'm juggling those two things now.
But this is where everyone needs to go back and listen to last week's lesson if you didn't, because social conditioning tells us that's what we're supposed to want.
Yeah.
You grow up, you get married, you have a baby, and life is sweet. White picket fence, happy days. But it's not for a lot of people. And if you look back into history, it never was. Like the women who were more, I guess, put in boxes didn't look after their own kids. It was very much a made village mentality. And so this new age thinking of the amount of time we spend with our children equates what good scale of parenting we're on is the most ridiculous thing. I don't know where it came from,
absolutely.
But this need to have time with our kids is so dumb. And I think it comes from our parents being boomers, and the majority of them were stay-at-home mums. But that's more about an economy and a disconnect with affordable childcare and the fact that you didn't always need two incomes to live. That is not today's world, people. That is not today's world. And I think that we could do a lot more talking about this stuff, because I really had to redefine what I wanted motherhood to look like and shut out the world, and it was such a low point doing that.
What lessons did you learn?
Loaded
question.
All of the stuff about how sick the world's perception is, but I remember getting a pen and paper and writing down all the daily to-dos of being a mother. The daily to-dos, from getting up to making breakfast to laundry to organising schedules and doctor's appointments and immunisations and lunchbox and food and shopping and playing with the kid and reading it a bedtime story.
Stimulating.
Yeah. And I wrote down everything I did for a week as a mother and realised that I actually never speak truth, life or character into my kids. I'm so busy with the stuff that how do I do that? And I didn't come from a home with an intentionality about that. And I knew straight away I wanted to. And that the type of personality I am, I need a rhythm for that. I need rules. I need traditions. And so I did two things. I got a highlighter out. And as I knew at that time, I was working full time in my career and I was starting my business. So I was beyond busy. I was also pregnant with number 3 and violently ill. And
your husband was working at the time?
On and off, yeah. So there was a massive sacrificial thing. It wasn't a case of I want to. I'd love to tell you I was that enlightened. It was something's got to go. Yeah. And pureeing broccoli into brownies feels like the first place to start. Like that was a process. But I went with a highlighter and I thought, which of these are the ones I can't let go? Which are the most important to me? And how do I create a rhythm for myself where that's a priority? And I became a significantly better mother. And I still do that process because I find myself, to be completely honest, not wanting to do those things sometimes. Like I'm loving changing the world through business. I have to remind myself to go back and speak truth and life into the kids sometimes. But yeah, so I defined that and I just let it be okay to release it. And I learnt the importance of doing that as a person, and that those rules and what you highlight is going to be completely different to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And neither is better or worse. It is about a God-given instinct of who you are as a mother, that only you know what's right for you and your family. There is no rule book. That is 100% on you. And for my partner, my husband, why did I call him my partner? Ooh, that was very, very 20s of me. My husband of 15 years had to do that work too because it was very different to what he thought man looked like. So we did that. And
there's also the cultural thing.
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah, it's a potty for another day. There's a whole cultural layer there. My husband's Zimbabwean, for those who don't know. But I also learnt that failing with my kids made better humans. And that's a more recent lesson, that whether it be right or wrong, I'm incredibly close with my older 2 girls. I was 20 when I had them, and we've had a roller coaster of life change, and I bring them along as closely as I can. And stay tuned when they turn 18 whether or not worked out. But I love who they are.
Yeah.
I love their perspective of the world. I love their grace and their empathy for others. I love the way that they see themselves, their sense of self. And I look at my younger kids in complete honesty. I'm like, I guts to fail more. Like, I literally need to just keep them humble and let them remember that they're not entitled to anything, and that you've got to have setbacks, and mum is wrong sometimes, and this is what happens when mum's wrong, and mum and dad mess up, and things aren't always easy, and this is what we do as a family when it's not. Whereas they've not had as much of that, and I can see it as their personalities form. So when I do screw up miserably, which I still very much do, I just remember that showing them how I fix that has been such a powerful part of parenting. And I guess the last big lesson that I learned, and where I get the real ick of this conversation, particularly in women in business circles, and I hate that women in business is tied to motherhood. That's a thing for another day. But I think all women have a caring aspect to their life. But specifically to motherhood, mum guilt is not fake. Everyone's like, mum guilt is not real. No, mum guilt's real.
It's there, 100%.
100%. And it's a real guidepost. And for me, I developed a bit of a rule that if mum guilt is based on comparison, it's fake.
Yeah.
So when I'm rolling the car to a slow stop and throwing a very questionable Vegemite sandwich at my daughter's head as she gets out, and see, you know, another mum with her organic homemade pita, that mum guilt we're letting go.
Yeah.
She's fine. I'm not even giving that the energy that
it doesn't need.
No.
It doesn't need.
But when you go and give them a hug and they hang on it a little bit extra tight, or they ask you if you can do something and you say no and it didn't feel good, you need to listen to that. We've lost instincts in comparison, and your mothering instincts are so powerful. And I think the blessing that I had of having my firstborn so young, where I didn't have social media, we didn't have access to what the info we did now, is all I had was my instincts. I didn't have a mum navigating that with me. I didn't have friends and family telling me what to do. And I'll never forget, I went for a walk after she was born, and we were at the back of the Mater Hospital, which for those in Brizzy who know it, there's hundreds of babies in that ward. And it was in the middle of visiting hours. There's crying and there's noise. And I remember walking through the doors after a bit quick walk in the sunshine, and I could hear my baby crying at the very last room over everything else. And it was such a sense of like, you know, you just have to block that noise, you know. And so Alex is crying, I win for those who play at home, but she's sending me too. And my lesson and my hope and my prayer for mothers out there would be embrace your mum guilt when it's an inner feeling and you can fix it. And the fact you have it makes you a wonderful mum.
Absolutely.
The fact you have that little, I just wish I could have savored that moment or be more present, fix it.
Yeah.
You can change it.
Yeah.
But that mum that's like, oh, I've got to get a cake smash and post it on Instagram and oh my gosh, can we just release that? Or you don't have energy to spare on that crap. Stop cutting your sandwiches into shapes of animals. Stop going to baby sensory class. The world is a sensory class when you're a baby. Like the energy and the measuring sticks we have are so broken that we're missing what's so obviously in front of us.
But also it just needs to be more normalized that it's hard. It is so hard. And it's okay to feel that way, and it's okay to say it out loud. Yeah. I think that's where people get stuck, is like they feel all this stuff and then they feel guilty for feeling like that, or that they shouldn't be feeling. But everyone feels like that. And as a community, the simple change we can make is asking questions instead of telling information. Stop putting your advice out there. No one cares. No one cares. Nothing instills more advice from people than having a business or a baby. And I have a lot of both. And I'm so over it. Like the second you're pregnant, oh, my next door neighbor's cat once had babies. You should eat honey. Like stop that. Ask, how are ya? Yeah. What does your day look like? You know, just stop making judgment on their bodies. Stop making judgment on, you know, how quick they bounce back. Stop making judgment on how they should or shouldn't feel, and actually listen and learn how to support each other, and let it be okay to have space for the good and the bad and everything in between. Yeah. And finding people that you can tell your innermost, darkest
fears and helping them hold you accountable to the feelings that come through motherhood is such a blessing. But as women, we don't create that space, even in our closest friendship circles. And my hope of being really vulnerable in here and the potential judgment and hate that I know my Karen friends are going to give me is that if one person goes to a friend, like, how are you really? Like, what did your day look like today? What was the best part of your day? What was the slowest point of your day? Or the Disney rule is a great one. Like, next time you hug your friend, just don't let go. Just hang there for a bit. And just give us space for the feelings, the good and the hard, a bit better as mothers. I think we could do so much. Anyway, get me off this pedestal.
Do your kids ever compare your family to other families?
Yeah, all the time.
Really?
All the time. Especially my son recently having a dad that stays at home. But it's such a positive thing. I don't know how we've done that, but he thinks it's great that dad hangs out all day. None of the other dads get to go to school. And look, I miss out on a lot. Like, this notion of mums can have it all is crap. It's a trade-off. Like, I sacrifice one activity for another, and I'm very clear on where those lines are. And in some seasons, work is less time, and in others, family is less time. So I don't go to assemblies and all of this, and I just explain to the kids, I'm doing this today, and that has to be more important right now because... But would you like me to change that?
Yeah.
This is what this means for our family. This is what this means. But I will be here for that. And we have very intentional conversations. And I don't know if this is right. If one of them ends up a serial killer, scrap this episode from the internet. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. But what I do know is that my kids know what to do and say when they need me. So we all have a password. Like all of my kids have a password that they can call mum and I'm there. Anytime that this or this happens, you need me, I don't care what country I'm in or what's at stake,
I'll be there.
I got you. Do I need to come and watch you get student of the week? Because every kid gets that. It's not real.
It's just a rotation.
It's 100% not real. Is that something you want me to prioritise? Oh, no, probably not. And one of my proudest moments is when I overheard a conversation with my son and they were having some event at school. I think it was a disco or an open mic night. I don't know, cringe. But they were like, oh, my mum's making jelly cups and my mum's doing this. Is your mum going to do something? And he went, heck no. She doesn't do stuff like that. And I went, yeah, boy. Yeah. Don't say heck, but yeah. I was like, no, she's busy. Got better things to do. I was like, yes, I do.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to discredit the mothers who pour their life into mothering and school activities because I can't do what I do without those P&C mums. I see you and I love you.
Yeah.
I just would rather put my nipples through a cheese grater
you.
than be one, for sure. Yeah. And we have to let both be okay. Not one is not better than the other.
No.
If your cup is filled by motherhood, you're amazing. And if my life was fulfilled by motherhood, man, I've hit the jackpot.
Yeah,
like, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's not about one's better than the other. It's about making space for a different type of woman.
Absolutely.
For sure. Appreciate this one.
Oh.
That's a wrap. Lesson number, I don't know, let's not number them because the chance of me being organised to get that right
It was a lot lighter
there.
than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was ready for the full tearjerker.
No, we got away with just a few little leaks. There's no rules to motherhood. You are allowed to redefine that and write that however you want. It does not relate to time or aesthetic bloody outfits. Please stop wearing beige and cutting your kids' sandwiches into shapes and make sure you're focusing on the right things for you. And you're the only one that gets to make those rules.
Absolutely.
We will see you next week for more shenanigans. But in the meantime, head over to TikTok and follow Too Much Jess because I'm equally as much of a hot mess over there. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, Alex.